Hello and welcome this lovely Monday morning to Market Insight. I am Lavina Emma. So over the weekend, particularly on Sunday, the Lagos State government initiative to ease the sufferings of Lagosians concerning the high cost of food prices came to fruition in terms of what Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu said during the media chat last month. And the market for the 25% discounted goods was started yesterday, Sunday, 17th March. So the market is called Ounje. So at this market, Lagosians can buy food items at a 25% discount. Food items like rice, beans, gari, tomatoes, pepper, and the quantities for example, rice sells as 5 kilograms sells as 5,000 naira plus, which is lower rather than what it obtains at regular market. So this is a very good initiative by the Lagos State government. So on today's show, I will be discussing with my guests how this will impact the livelihoods of Lagosians, particularly because I know after yesterday's Sunday, the next Sunday, more people will be looking forward to buying more food items at these discounted markets all over Lagos. So I'm going to be discussing how this will affect the livelihoods of Lagosians, how it will affect most communities who have been buying things at high rates, and now there's a market which opens only on Sundays that they can buy things at cheaper rates. And what are the long-term consequences of this? Is this going to be a handout yearly from the Lagos State government, or is it just a short-term initiative? So these and so much more are what I'll be discussing with my guests. Stay tuned.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Onuje, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School, where he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. Jakande began a career in journalism in 1949 with a daily service and joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. The owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, appointed Jakande editor-in-chief of the Tribune in 1956. Jakande established John West Publications in 1975 after leaving Tribune and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. Jakande ran for election as executive governor of Lagos State in 1979 on the Unity Party of Nigeria platform. His administration was effective and open and implemented the cardinal policies of his party. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, and providing free primary and secondary education. He gave poor people's children education, and many of them are now very prominent in the society today. Jakande established the Lagos State University and constructed over 30,000 housing units. After the military takeover in 1983, Jakande was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason and later pardoned. He served as Minister of Works under the Sani Abacha military regime. He died in Lagos on February 11, 2021. Lateef Jakande was the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Lateef Kayode Jakande. Sook enlightenment. We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas touch and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job. In the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress, welcome to Souk News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souk News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Soup News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Soup News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. Soup News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
Broad Street. Broad Street, situated in Lagos Island, is steeped in Nigerian history. Once the biggest financial hub of the country, it housed the headquarters of major banks, linked the CBN, the stock exchange, and the loads of lender companies. Broad Street is a historically significant street. It has played a central role in the development of Lagos and history, an important commercial and administrative center for the British colonial authorities. It was also a home to some of the city's earliest modern buildings. Broad Street was a residential area in the pre-colonial era. With the British came the Methodist Boys High School in 1878 and the Broad Street Prison in 1882, renamed Freedom Park. The General Hospital, which was a British military hospital, was built in 1893, being the first general hospital in Nigeria. The old British Secretariat building, which is now the Federal Ministry of Justice, was built in 1906. Broad Street has seen a full turn into modern commercial office blocks, complexes, skyscrapers, and markets from the outer marina through Akpombo, early into the Adeniji-Adele Road. Broad Street is one of the busiest streets in Nigeria on weekdays, where commercial activities take place day and night. From modern buildings to ancient structures, this street gives one a raw dose of life in Lagos. Broad Street is often referred to as Lagos Financial.
Fire me. Can you hear me? Get Insight. It's a pleasure having you on our show this morning as we discuss Lagos State's latest initiative to bring some form of relief to Lagosians with the introduction of the 25% markets, 25% discount market that opens only on Sundays. So I want to know, how effective will this 25% discount be in making food available for low-income residents?
Let me start by correcting the AP. It's not an apostle. I am an assistant pastor. That's the AP stands for assistant pastor and not apostle. Having said that, I want to commend the governor and government of Lagos State for that wonderful initiative of bringing food items to the very grassroots of the society. Hence, it comes down to all the 57 CDCs in Lagos State. It's a welcome development.
Yes, I also understand there is a voucher system for people to purchase whatever food items they need to buy. So will this voucher system be successful in preventing people from stockpiling or reselling the discounted food? Because, you know, as Nigerians, we have the tendency to actually go to this market and buy things in bulk, you might think as a seller that you are buying for your home, but some people might want to resell these food items. So will this voucher system be successful in preventing people from reselling the items that they buy in the markets?
Going by the very first attempt, which was yesterday, we recorded good success. So going by that, practically it worked very well. The voucher is to make a buyer cannot buy more than one item provided at the market spot. So there is no room for somebody buying just an item and going to resell.
Okay, thank you for that, Assistant Pastor Shegun Fayemi. Yes, so now will this discounted, this Sunday markets that sell food items at discounted prices, now will it affect the regular markets also? Because I'm quite sure most people will look forward to actually going there on Sundays as opposed to going to the regular markets because they know they can get the food items they need for their households. So I just want to know actually, like, will it affect patronage of the regular markets in Lagos State?
With the big population of Lagos State, even if every household is turning 100 buyers, first 500 that come in for the market every Sunday, which is very, very laudable. The local government too has assessed it, and I have the assurance of the chairman, Honorable Shegun Odumbaku, that the local government would partner with Lagos State government. The next one, which is next Sunday, they will see the areas they can come in to assist, to give their own assistance as well. So with everybody coming on board, it's going to be a big success by the grace of God.
Thank you very much for your time with us on Market Insights, Assistant Pastor Shegun Fayemi. It was a pleasure discussing the Lagos State government's initiative concerning the 25% market discounts that have been created. And we look forward to discussing more issues with you on another episode of Money. So it means we are importing more than we are exporting. So after the break, I'm going to be discussing with my guests right here in the studio with me how this import deficit is affecting our economy. So join us after the break.
In the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress. Welcome to Souk News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest shoe-earning journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souk News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souk News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news.
And entertaining.
Thank you to Souk News.
So I'm happy that Souk TV has come into existence.
I'm happy to be here in the Souk News.
I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching news that makes sense.
As Browning said, one's extension of one's reach should not exceed one's grasp, or what is heaven for. And I think Souk News is doing that.
Africa needs a voice of truth, and Souk News has become one of them. And get ready, get ready, get ready.
And keep watching.
Keep watching Souk News.
Keep watching Souk News. It's a place to be.
Keep watching Souk News.
Also affecting our economy. So could you shed more light on this issue, please?
Okay, the pleasure to be here on the program. When you have a scenario like this, which is a trade deficit, you look at what are those products that constitute the trade deficit that we currently have, and trade deficit can be cyclical or structural. So if you look at these things together, you will realize that the two major trade deficit that we have is currently affecting Nigeria. So that is why we are having a lot of trade deficits as we have it, and is continuing to have it in such a manner.
Okay, now What are the implications of this import-export deficit for our economy, actually, looking at it in the long term? Because we know that the National Bureau of Statistics, they've been talking about this trade deficit and also our import-export deficit. It means that we are, like rightfully said, we are importing more than we are exporting. And we know definitely that the consumers are the ones that have, let me say, put this lifestyle currently, because we actually prefer more of imported goods to what we have in the country. So what are the long-term effects on our economy?
The effect on our economy is that we are going to continue to have a situation whereby our currency will continue to be depreciated, and there's no two way about it. Though the current government believes that the level of depreciation in our currency that we have was as a result of activities of speculators. But it is not like that. When you look at what is happening currently in Nigeria, you will know that what we have is as a result of the trade deficit that we have. And also, you may not be able to rule out the activity of speculator quite all right. When you look at the government that just left, I mean the Buhari-led government, they believe that the Naira is properly valued. But the current administration believes that the Naira is not properly valued, it's undervalued, and it's as a result of a speculator that we have is like this. So whenever you have a situation Nigeria has currently, the trade stability continues to depreciate the volume of the value of your Naira, and that's what we think is going to be the effect to the country. And if it continues like this, we'll continue to have depreciation of our Naira.
But don't you think, like, if the government can create policies to actually stop this trend? Because it's what we, like, for example, I'm just giving this minor example now. If we go to our supermarkets and we keep seeing imported cereals, imported milk products, imported fruit drinks, also imported fruits, and then most consumers tend to buy these goods, won't it lead to the marketers of this or producers of this still telling them at the customs, oh, please bring in more imported things, that's what consumers want? Wouldn't it be better if the government creates policies that could stop this trend?
Yes, it's normal for the government, and that's what is required for the government to bring out some policies to address this issue. But before a particular government bring policy to address a particular issue, you have to know the understanding of such government. Okay. As I said earlier, the Buhari government believes that Nigerian Naira is properly valued, and it's because of the import, because there's a problem with our supply side. That is why our currency is continuing going down in terms of the value. But the current government believes it's a result of speculator, and that is why you see the current government going after the trader, the BDC operator, and those all sorts of things. They are addressing the speculative aspect of our Naira being going down, which we are expecting them to address the structural aspect of it. And the structural aspect of it is what you have mentioned earlier, that, okay, they are importing, look at the product that are importing to Nigeria: sugar, milk, fish, and the rest. If you look at what we export in Nigeria, we are talking about sesame, cocoa, and the rest. So all these things, all this issue is policy issue. But before you can talk about the policy, you look at what the understanding of the current problem of the government in the country. So if you don't understand what the government believe, you may not know the reason why they are taking particular steps. So to go with what you have said, government need to do policy, not only to address the speculative aspect of our currency going down or trade deficit. They also need to look at the fundamentals of what is causing this trade deficit that we are having, which may be either cyclical or structural.
Okay. So, okay, Mr. Mohammed, now, if you were a part of government, actually, like if you were in the decision-making area of government, and what would you suggest, or what practical steps would you take to actually try to, even if it's to a small extent, curb this import deficit? What would you do?
Thank you. When you look at what you need to do, the government should need to look at this issue wholeheartedly. You don't focus majorly on particular understanding of the current problem Nigeria has. So what you need to do is, like the government that left the immediate past government, yes. What they were doing, they have a lot of program geared towards improving the productivity of farmer, and this is why you have products like anchor borrowed program. You have other things that are given to farmer and other things. So all these things are geared towards making sure that the production is being improved. So the way to go about it is to make sure that we increase our productivity, even though there are some other things that we can also look into as regards to looking at the fact that there are activities of speculator that is making us to have this kind of scenario. So you need to combine different approaches to make sure that this thing is solved for all. And you have to look at this is something that is a long-term, you have to look at long-term policies to address some of these, because we are not here today. We have been there for the past, I think the problem started as far back as 1985, and up to today, we are still in it. So we need to design a very long-term policy to make sure that this is being addressed, and by doing that, we are going to come out of this issue.
Yeah, but even as far back as that period, actually, it wasn't this high.
Exactly.
So this really, really high rates just started at the fourth quarter of 2023, which is last year.
Exactly.
So that's why it's a bit worrisome to most analysts, actually.
Exactly.
So how can Nigeria increase its exports and reduce its imports? What would you suggest?
When you look at the major cause of trade deficit, which increase your import and reduce export, is one of it is the issue of when you look at Nigerian, when there is a rapid economic growth in a country, is part of those cyclical causes of trade deficit. So to address this one is not something that you can just look into and say you want to reduce the rapid growth of. We want rapid growth. Yes, that's one of those things you cannot tamper with. But when you look at the structural aspect of it, you will realize that there's weakness in the supply side of agricultural products in Nigeria. So the way to look at it is that you need to look at what are those things that is causing this. When you realize it, and one of these advice that the federal government should look into is to look for a way to increase productivity of farmers by bringing out different agricultural programs and projects that can make the farmer to be able to improve their productivity. As we have currently in Nigeria, we are into agriculture. But what other developed world are doing is agribusiness. You turn agriculture into business, not a culture. So when you imbibe this kind of culture in terms of agricultural programs and projects, then we will have a situation whereby Nigeria will move forward in terms of increasing our export. Because by increasing your export, you have to increase your productivity first, and that is why the level at which we're still majorly in peasant farming, and we need to go into what we call mechanized farming. Mechanized farming can only be done by giving the opportunity to most of these foreigners that have excelled in those developed world. So you need to give them most of this opportunity to come into Nigeria and increase the productivity of Nigeria, and let our agriculture become an agri-business, not agriculture. So this is the way I think the government should look into it. And
so you are suggesting more foreign investment in our agri sector?
Exactly, then? Exactly.
Okay. Hopefully that might help.
Even look at what we have with this company that bought Dangote flour. Olams yes. Came into the company, and you see the kind of turnaround they are doing into agriculture. See a lot of things that they are doing in Kaduna, Kano, and the rest. You see they are into mechanized farming, and you see the kind of productivity that's coming out from that particular company. So if you invite most of these foreigners, they've done it before. There was a report I listened to. I heard about Israeli company that if they can have such a fertile land between Lagos and Ibadan that we use for churches and mosques. They can feed the whole of Africa. If they can have the land between Lagos and Ibadan, they can feed the whole of Africa. If this kind of scenario is being looked into, and you invite some of these foreign companies, they'll be able to turn this around and improve our productivity and also improve our export in agriculture.
Okay, I like that. Yes, more foreign investments. I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time, and also the current administration has been, I'm sure you've seen recent trips to different countries in Europe and also in the Middle East, like the visit to Qatar. So they're actually looking at more foreign investors coming into Nigeria to actually help boost our economy. Actually, yes, that's a very good point. Okay, but you know, currently in Nigeria, we have this reliance on the oil, on our petroleum, and also on crude oil, actually. So to what extent do you think Nigeria's reliance on the oil exports contribute to the import-export deficits, and how can the country diversify its exports? Sorry, I have to ask you these two questions at the same time, but let's just first of all start with our reliance, or rather, should I say our over-reliance on the oil exports, and how does it contribute to our import-export deficits?
Over-reliance on exports has caused a lot of problem.
Oil exports, yes.
Oil exports, sorry.
Yes.
Oil exports has caused a lot of issue to Nigerian soil. And when you look at this, our over-reliance has even caused Nigeria to concentrate more on oil than any other thing. When it happened to Dubai has a similar scenario with Nigeria. So when they try to diversify from their oil business, they were able to make it, and Dubai today is one of those countries that you reckon in the world in terms of development, and even in terms of
they boosted their tourism sector.
They boosted their tourism sector from the oil business. Yes. So if you look at this kind of scenario that Nigeria has, we need to diversify from this oil, over-reliance on oil. And that is why the over concentration on this oil sector is making all other sector being neglected, and that is why. And there is no way that you can rely on one particular product and still want to improve your export. It's not done. So you need to do other things and look at other sector and see how they can be improved, and make sure that the productivity from other sector also contributes more into the export trade of Nigerian country.
Okay, so what can it contribute to diversify its exports? Yes, agriculture is one area, and yes, I've had people talk in the past that we shouldn't just rely on only exporting raw materials. We should also look at exporting our finished products, actually improving the standards of this. So what's your take on this?
If you want to go in that line, when you go, I want to support you completely. There was a report I read as regards to value added. You can't be exporting your raw materials. Yes. Look at the value added between cocoa and chocolate. If you look, the most, I've forgotten the country that produce the highest cocoa. I think Switzerland. If you see Switzerland today, when you see what they are doing in terms of chocolate, you know that the value added is what we need. You can't just continue to export your raw material. You see some people carrying your cashew nut, you export it, you carry your almost everything you have, raw material you are exporting. No. Countries does not work like that. I mean, a developed country will never grow in that manner by exporting your raw materials. When you look at some other products too, just do some value added, and you see the the result that you have from doing such things. So I will support you that we should look at exporting our finished product than exporting our raw material.
And do you think it will also lead to bringing this, for example, like you rightfully mentioned, cocoa? It's something most chocolate industries use to actually make chocolate. So do you think it will lead to them establishing branches of these manufacturing industries right here in Nigeria?
One of the principles of localization of the industry is nearness to raw material. So when you establish, when you have a country, okay, when you have a company in Switzerland and you are having your raw material here, you have additional cost of transporting and other things that will add to your raw material. But if you establish here, so it shows that you are very close to your raw material. So nearness to raw material is one of the basic principles of localization of an industry. So I mean location of industry, and that is exactly what we're saying. We are expecting the government should create an enabling atmosphere to bring this foreign country to come and set up here.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Mohammed. Yes, so okay, now considering the complex relationship between exchange rates, our foreign exchange rates, and foreign investments and import-export flows, now how can Nigeria strategically manage these factors to improve the trade balance? We all know right now our foreign exchange rates are quite high every day. When we look at the official CBN rates, and even in the unofficial market, the parallel market rates, they are even higher than the CBN rates, and it's not reducing anytime soon. So how can we actually manage this too strategically to actually help our import-export trade deficits?
You know, when you look at what we are having today, initially we have a wide gap between the CBN rate and also the parallel market rate, which some people call black market rate. So when you look at this rate, you see there's a wide gap between the two, and this is causing a lot of issue. Yes, it's a good way to go if the government of the day want to harmonize these two, because it's causing a serious, we have a kind of a backlog of unsettled transaction, let me call it transaction, unsettled transaction that has not been done just because there's a wide gap between the two. When you harmonize the two, the market will be able to be a kind of free market that everybody can access at a particular time and then do transaction the way they want it. But the way we are, if the production, if the productivity has not been worked on, the production has not been worked on, our population is keep growing up, there's no way we can follow that pattern and have it successful as we want to have it. After the government has done harmonization of these different market that we have, you can see the market, I mean, the foreign exchange rate continue to go up, and our foreign currency is going up and our foreign currency is going down, and that is what we have today. So the way to go about it is to make sure that we harmonize it, but you have to do it in a kind of a gradual process. It's not something that you wake up one day and make one pronouncement, and that is why everybody was running etasketa and doing whatever they like and make sure that, so it has to be a dialectical process. If we didn't get here today, I told you, we didn't get here today. There has to be a long-term design towards this and make sure that these things are done and done properly.
Okay, thank you very much for this, Mr. Mohammed Jamiu Kayode, for joining us this morning on Market Insights as we discuss Nigeria's import-export trade deficits and how it's affecting the economy. And like you rightfully mentioned, that we need to actually bring in more foreign investors into our agricultural sector, or like you rightfully said, agri-business sector. Actually, it's not the culture; it's actually a business. If you can actually emphasize this, it will actually help our economy. And in addition, you also mentioned that we needed to diversify our economy. We needed to actually not just rely on our oil exports alone, but also on other sectors of the economy. So thank you very much for joining us this morning on Market Insights. We look forward to having you on our next episode of Market Insights.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. So now let's take a look at the money market. Let's see what the rates, the foreign currency is saying this morning on the money market. What are the figures in the parallel markets and also in the unofficial rates and the official rates? So let's look at our money market figures this morning. Yes. So today, 18th March, the currency rates this morning. So the dollar is actually selling for at the parallel market, the dollar is selling at 1,605 naira, and at the official CBN rate, the dollar is selling for 1,480 naira. As usual, the parallel market rates are higher than the Central Bank of Nigerian rates. So, and the pound sterling is selling for 1,914 naira at the official CBN rates, and in the parallel market, the pound sterling is selling for 2,013 naira. And the euro In the parallel market, the euro is selling for 1,725 naira, and in the CBN rates, the euro is selling for 1,641 naira. So as usual, looking at all these foreign currencies, the parallel market rates are higher than the official CBN rates. So, well, we believe hopefully it will definitely reduce one of these days actually, but we've seen the trend. It's not slowing down anytime soon. It keeps increasing actually all the time. So these are our money market rates for today, 18th March 2024. Okay then. Okay, so that was our time this morning on Market Insights as we talked with our guest, first of all, Assistant Pastor Segun Fayemi, who is the chairman for Ojodu LCDA, and also Mr. Mohammed Jamiu Kayode, who is the head capital markets and also a financial investment analyst and also an equities investor with so many years experience in the capital market. So thank you very much for joining us this morning on Market Insights as we discuss issues affecting Nigerians and the economy as large. Stay tuned to the next program on Souk News. I am Lovina Emma.